to sit with for a moment. If you are holding 1,000 XRP right now, you are holding approximately $2,200 to $20,500 at current prices. If you are holding 5,000 XRP, you are in the $11,000 to $12,500 range. If you are holding 10,000 XRP, you are close to $23,000 to $25,000. Those numbers sound like what they are, a retail position. But here is the thing about what happens when a statutory framework lands and the institutional deployment begins. The first thing institutions do is not buy on open market. They negotiate OTC. They absorb supply off exchange. They move before the price adjusts to the new demand level. By the time the price chart shows you what happened, the absorption is already done. The people who watched the Genius Act play out for stablecoins saw exactly this dynamic. The companies that got in before the institutional integrations were announced made multiples. The people who waited for the announcement to confirm what was coming paid a very different price. This is not a someday story. The schedule says May 14th. The prediction markets say 71%. The SEC chair and the CFTC chair are both on record this week pushing for this to happen now. If you are looking for a catalyst to act on, I am not sure what you are waiting for. Look, if you made it this far, you are not here by accident. You are someone who actually wants to understand the structure of what is happening, not just the headline. Hit like, drop a comment, subscribe if you have not already. This channel exists because people like you take the analysis seriously. Help us reach more of them. I know what some of you are feeling right now. The price has not moved the way the fundamentals warrant. The legislation keeps getting close and then something shifts. New language, new stakeholder objection, new delay. You have been patient for months, maybe years, and every time there is a breakthrough moment, someone finds a reason it is not quite there yet. I hear that. I have been tracking this with you through every update, every markup hearing, every compromise negotiation. But here is what I personally believe, and I say this with the data in front of me, not as a motivational line. The period of maximum frustration in any major regulatory shift is almost always the period directly preceding the structural breakout. Not because the frustration is a signal in itself, but because the frustration is what retail feels when the institutional accumulation phase is still running. When the prediction market is at 71%, when both the SEC chair and the CFTC chair are publicly calling for passage this week, when a Democratic senator who has been the biggest obstacle says, "I think it can pass, I really do," that is not the beginning of the story. That is close to the end of the setup phase. What follows clarity being signed into law is not a slow ramp. The Genius Act precedent tells you it is a fast deployment. Companies move in months, not years, once the legal container exists. The one signal I am personally watching right now is the Monday confirmation notice. If that comes through on schedule, I think the timeline collapses faster than most retail holders are prepared for. So here's where everything lands. The Senate Banking Committee has a vote date. The prediction markets have moved 25 points in a single month. The SEC chair and the CFTC chair are coordinating in real time and both calling for passage now. Senator Also Brooks says the yield compromise is resolved. Brian Armstrong says what follows clarity will look like what followed the Genius Act, hundreds of companies deploying integrations within months. Michael Seelig says single regulator registration is the vision and it is already being operationalized. Every signal we have been tracking for months is now compressing into a single week. And here's the part I want you to carry out of this video. Most people watching the crypto market right now are looking at the price chart. They are asking why XRP is not at $10 or $20. They are comparing it to Bitcoin. They are getting frustrated by a number on a screen. The people who will look back at this moment and understand what they were watching are not looking at the price chart. They are reading the Senate Banking Committee calendar. They are watching the prediction markets. They are tracking what the SEC chair said 24 hours ago. That is the difference between smart money and exit liquidity. And you are clearly not the latter, or you would not still be here. If this channel is one of the places you come to stay on the right side of that line, hit subscribe. We are not done yet. If you think the vote on May 14th is the biggest event of this cycle, wait until I show you what the rule-making timeline looks like after the signature. Because what comes after clarity passes is a story most people are not even thinking about yet. And that is exactly what I am covering next. What is your XRP target the day after Trump signs this? Drop the number below. I read every single one.